Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time Tuesday here at the Renewal Center. We hope everyone is having a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We ask that each and every one of you that join us for Tea Time Tuesday invite someone, tag someone, let them know that the Renewal Center is streaming live. We definitely are so glad to be back. Hello to all of you. And my name is Carmela Head. I'm Director of Renewal and Community Programs here at the Renewal Center. We are streaming live on location today, and it is an absolutely beautiful day outside. We're so excited to be with you. So once again, we're going to wait till some people come on in. We ask that you would go ahead and tag your friend. Invite your friend and let them know that we have some great renewal practices here as we take time for reset, we take time to pause and to build resilience. And so I would like to just go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, Prophet Ho. Yeah, she's our Director of Renewal and Digital Renewal and Stewardship. How you doing this afternoon? So glad that everyone is joining us today. You know, we're glad to be back here on Tuesday. Last week we had a special Renewal Live, a special guest with us, Latasha Y. Coleman. She is a domestic violence advocate, and she was our special guest last Thursday night. We had a great time of really getting some information about the domestic violence awareness. So we want to thank Latasha for being with us here at the Renewal Center. And so I just want to say good morning. Good morning or good afternoon, Karen. Good afternoon, Evangelist Tiffany Brion. We're so glad to see everybody today. Everybody's back and doing well. We want to acknowledge the fact that we are in Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we are just really here to provide information. So you'll be able to come on location here at the Renewal Center and get more tangible information in your hand when you do drop in. We want to acknowledge the fact that we are in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we definitely celebrate with our survivors of breast cancer awareness. And we want to bring to everyone's attention that we have Pastoral Care Week. Yes, Pastoral Care Week, and that gives us opportunities for organizations and institutions of all kinds and types to recognize the spiritual caregivers in their midst. And that's pastors, that's chaplains, they're caregivers in their midst, and ministry that their caregivers provide. So these are spiritual caregivers. This year's theme is advancing spiritual care through research. And these are, like I said, the pastors and chaplains that function in the correctional, healthcare, corporate, disaster relief, military, sports, local community, and chaplains in faith-based communities. So we're excited that we are honoring spiritual care research. So that is going on this month. We're excited about just being with you today, and we want to get started. And we want to talk about our tea of the week. Yes, our tea of the week. We definitely want to do that. That is lemongrass tea today. Lemongrass tea is considered to be an herb and a spice. It's used to make lemongrass tea. It is also found in many different cuisines. So those of you that are good chefs, just like Nicole Pinnell, she might know a lot about that, about using lemongrass or whatever in different cuisines. But it is used in different cuisines, and it's also used to make tea. The lemongrass, we use the particular stems of the lemongrass, and it's steeped just like any other type of tea, black tea or green tea. And its origin, it comes from Southeast Asia and Africa. It has a zesty flavor for those of you that have tasted it. I've tasted it. It's very good. And, you can sweeten it and steep it just like any other tea, and it's very flavorful. It's been around for a long time. So lemongrass tea, if those of you who haven't tried it and want to try it, let us know at the Renewal Center if you like it. Okay, so we are moving forward again in the month of October. This is our last Tuesday for Tea Time Tuesday for the month of October. We've been presenting books on just building up hope within us and encouragement. And I would like to present the book of the week as Living in the Kingdom of God Where Grace Rules. How many of you guys need some grace? Yes, we need grace. And so thank you, Prophet Hope. Yes, that is a good tea. I want to read a little bit of that, a little bit of synopsis about what this book is about, because we all need grace at one time or another. Are you living by the rules or are you letting God's grace rule you? That's a good question. There's a big difference between the two. If you're living for God, living by rules, you'll always be exhausted. You'll feel as if you're not doing enough for God, and that if you don't measure up, He will be displeased with you. How many of you guys have ever felt that way? But God never meant for the Christian life to be that way. His love for us isn't based on how we perform for Him. He sent Christ to set us free from rules. He didn't call us to serve Him in our own feeble power, but to let His power flow through us, a power that is without limit. So, what's more, this power is already available to us right now. He has provided everything we need for a truly meaningful, joy filled life here, all because of His marvelous grace. So, once again, move it over this side, our book of the week, and I've got a little glare there, is Living in the Kingdom of God Where Grace Rules by Steve McVey. Awesome. So excited. So we're going to move forward today, and we're going to move along and bring our executive director, Patrick J. Brown, with us to continue with our renewal practices on Tea Time Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carmela, for opening up. How's everyone doing? This is our last tea time for the month of October. And as Carmela shared with us, we've been focusing on those 3 awareness areas this month. And so we're excited about that. So let's take a time and let's just locate ourselves before we move forward today. If you will, go ahead and share with us what your tea is of the day. I definitely have my chamomile tea today, very warm, soothing tea. And so I had a little dinner work done earlier this morning, so it's very, very much calm. So please go ahead, if you will, and let's just take 30 seconds, if you will, and just pause for your day. I know that you're busy. I know you probably got a lot going on right now. And we have 2 more months left out of this year. Let's take a day right now and just calm ourselves. Let's pause for like 30 seconds. Go ahead and just locate yourself and your calm and just reset yourself today. Very good. Very good. I'm so glad to see everyone that's on. Good to see you. Oh, Shamari, my niece is on. Hey, Shamari. Thanks for joining on in today. So glad to have you on. This is a good subject today. Today, I want to focus on something I think that we can all benefit from. I have been thinking about, how we have been sharing about self-improvement and just a lot of different aspects the past couple of months. And so I wanted to share a few things I think will be helpful. But before we go forward, please go ahead and share with us what's your tea for today. What's your refreshing tea for today? And again, tea time is about taking a time to pause, taking a time to reset yourself, taking a time to refresh yourself. One thing about I Am Renewal, it is about constant refreshing and renewal moments, because if we don't take that time to do it, it's not going to happen. And so that's why we have built this renewal community. So if you are in the Concord, Charlotte area, come visit us, 159 Church Street North, and have some tea, have some coffee with us. We would love to have a time to connect with you. All right. Tea with honey, peach tea, peach and ginger tea. Okay.
Shamari and I having the same one today.
Apple matcha. Okay, I haven't had that. That's definitely sounds like a nice fall one. Okay, and ginger, peach green tea. Lemon peppermint. Refreshing. Coffee.
Okay,
Keisha. Coffee. Green tea, lemon, and ginseng. Vanilla chai. All right. Again, we'll be back here next Tuesday, so you don't want to miss what we have coming up for you. Here, Keisha's like laughing. Coffee. So Again, thanks everyone for connecting. Please go ahead and tag your friends, share with your friends, because today's focus is going to be the second chance, starting over again, calm and clear. Bill, you want to stay on with me today? You could just sit there and chill and
Sure, I would love to.
let's just stay on. All
Okay.
right. So I want to flow today about the second chance, starting over again, calm and clear. You say, well, why would we choose this type of subject? I want to share with you because many of us have been through various circumstances in our lives, whether it be loss, it can be loss of a job, loss of friendships, relationships, all kinds of challenges we've experienced. We're overcoming circumstances, even situations that no one else may even know that we're experiencing. And so many times we want to reboot ourselves or refresh ourselves, or we don't realize the skill sets that we have. Even if we've experienced a failure in life, nothing is wasted. Nothing's wasted.
Yes.
And so I want to encourage you today about the second chance and starting over again, calm and clear. So if you have your journal, I have mine. So go ahead and get your journal out. And again, we're going to take some time to refresh ourselves with our starting over again activities and encouraging everyone that you can begin again and that you can have a second chance and you can create those. And so I want to work through that today. Let's workshop this if we can today. So, number one, all right. So, neuroscience at the bottom, you can see the quote there. Neuroscience research shows that the brain is wired to keep us safe, but also for negativity. They call it the reptilian brain. And so it shows that the brain is wired to keep us safe, but it's also wired for negativity. Yeah, that is why negative viral videos sell. Bad news will sell. Negativity will sell because the human brain is already wired. It is already conducive, or it has a particular proclivity to negative information. You don't even need to try to do it, it just happens. And so, one of the key things also is that the brain is wired to keep us safe. So, many times, we won't step out and take a risk. I like to say we're too careful to be dareful, or too frisky to be risky. So neuroscience shows the brain is wired to gotta play it safe, but also many times it's wired for negativity. And so because of how the brain has that type of programming, we don't start over. We immediately go to, well, that's what happened last time, or I don't know if I can recover. So the brain automatically goes to this instant, well, I got to play it safe now because of this or because of that. Or we give a whole litany of actions or items or experiences that are real to us, right? They're real to us, but because the way that the brain is wired, we play it safe and it's wired for negativity. So I wanted to point that out, and that's from neuroscience research. So how are we going to move forward and make the most of a second chance? If anybody's out there and you're moving forward to reboot, I'd like you to go ahead and hashtag I am renewal. If you're rebooting something in your life, if you're starting over in a certain area, or if you're realizing that nothing is wasted, go ahead and hashtag me I am renewal. I want you to put that out there. If there's anyone that wants to join this conversation today, the conversation of the second chance, the conversation about starting over calm, and you're starting over clear. And so today, I want you to use a fresh sheet, a clear sheet. I'm going to use this side because that's going to be your clean slate, your tabula rasa, as we call it in literature, the clean slate. Everything is clear. And so we're going to start fresh and we're going to start renewed. All right. So what are we going to do first? All right. I want you to write these few principles down. Acknowledge ownership. Now, what does that mean? That means that I'm acknowledging what went wrong. I'm acknowledging it's okay to acknowledge if something went wrong, And what do you think happens when we acknowledge that something went wrong? We see it as a what? Opportunity to grow. When we acknowledge, I'm going to own what I need to own, it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for transformation,
Yeah.
not condemnation. I think somebody needs me to say that one more time. It is an opportunity for transformation, not condemnation. We get enough negative self talk. Again, let's go back to the research. Neuroscience, the brain is wired to keep us safe, it is wired for negativity. It's easy to see something and then you spot out what's wrong. You spot out what's not looking well. We spot out a piece of hair that's off. Well, not me, but whatever. um, we look at something and we see something that's out of place because that's for what we're wired to look at. So I want us to think through the emphasis of acknowledging ownership as an opportunity to grow. So I want you to think about that as you're writing in your journal. And again, this is your time to pause because what's done is done. What's done is done. I recently thought through some decisions I've made, perhaps maybe words that I have said, or maybe said a certain way. My tone wasn't right, or the words I say weren't just right at all. And I need to, okay, that was not right. There at some what's done is done. So what do I need to do? Acknowledge ownership so that I can experience transformation. See, that helps you start over when you just acknowledge and own. See it as an opportunity for growth and expansion. The
Yeah.
fact that you're watching this right now lets me know that you're here. You're alive,
Mhm.
which means you have an opportunity to grow. You have an opportunity for expansion. So we're going to think about that and reflect on how we can own where we are to start over. That's empowerment, folks. That's empowerment. When you start seeing the tools that you have, that's a tool. Acknowledgement and ownership is a tool. Now, I can't empower you. Nobody else can empower you, but we can provide you with a tool to say, how can you empower yourself to start over again? By acknowledgement, by ownership. So if there's somebody that you think needs to hear this, please go right ahead and tag them, share this with them so perhaps they can watch this a little bit later on. All right, so number one is acknowledging and ownership. Now, second one is acceptance. Accept with compassion. Forgive yourself where needed and others as well. Forgive yourself where needed and others as well. So, in other words, you made a mistake, an offense happened, I was wrong, I
Mhm.
apologize. You forgive yourself, you forgive where necessary, and you accept where you are, but with compassion. What does self compassion really mean to you? You don't have to answer that right now through the chat, but I want you to just process this. And as we say, locate yourself. Sit with that. How am I accepting my mistakes with compassion? And again, because neuroscience research shows that the brain is wired to keep us safe and for negativity. So, in order for me to play it safe, I'm not going to acknowledge that I'm wrong. I'm not going to even be compassionate with myself. Yes, you know what, folks? I get it wrong plenty of times. I probably get it wrong every week. I probably get it wrong every month. I'm probably going to get it wrong next month in November. I have no idea. But what I do know is that when we acknowledge and own and we accept and show ourselves compassion, that's another tool to start over
Yeah.
and another tool to grow. What do you think about that, Carmela?
Oh, I think I agree. I was sitting here just really thinking that sometimes it's the areas of self compassion and forgiveness that is a barrier. It's like a stumbling block for us to
Mm-hmm.
get past.
Mm-hmm.
And once we can acknowledge the fact and step back, and like you said, step back, we can put grace on it. We put grace on it and forgive, start implementing self forgiveness, start implementing self compassion, and realizing we're not perfect people.
Hmm.
Allow the grace to take place, and then recalibrate some things. And how can I make,
Recalibrate.
yeah, how can I make it
Hmm.
better? How can I make things innovative for myself? There's
Hmm.
always room for growth, like you said, and empowerment is the key.
Hmm.
Empowering ourselves
Hmm.
is one of the most essential things that we can ever do so that we can break down those barriers of not
Hmm.
giving ourselves self-compassion or not giving ourselves self
Hmm.
forgiveness.
You know, it's powerful. You talked about stepping back. You used to run track in high school. And if you remember the high jump and the long jump, you had to go back to go
Right.
forward.
That's
You
right.
couldn't just stop right there at the line and just, just jump over it. You had to go back. You would start and measure yourself, right? To see where you are either on the line or how high the bar is, then you go back. And I like what you said,
Exactly.
step back to go forward.
Mm.
I think we need to adopt that Carmelaism today. Okay. Step back
Step
to
back.
go forward,
Mm.
recalibrate. And when we do that, we'll be more welcome to other people apologizing.
That's right.
We'll be more warm and welcoming to help others show themselves. Are you showing yourself compassion? But the first step, of course, is we got to acknowledge, right? And own
Hmm.
where we are. So I thank you for sharing that with us today. And anybody, if you're getting anything from this, please go ahead and put your comments in the comment section. Hashtag on renewal. Get us some likes. Go ahead and share this. Let's get interacted today. Hopefully you're writing this in your journals today as we're focusing on the second chance, starting over, calm and clear. Let's go to our next point. Now, I wrote down action for amends. In other words, if I'm genuinely learned from what I've gone through and I've taken action to amends, I need to remind myself you're still a worthy person.
Mm.
So I just want to make sure I remind you that you're still a worthy person, even when you have learned from the past, even when you have acknowledged and taken ownership, you've accepted yourself with compassion. There's been action for amends. One action is to still make sure you tell yourself you're worthy. Otherwise, what ends up happening is we condemn ourselves and we stay stuck. We stay stuck. So if you don't feel deserving of a fresh choice, that's not true. You do. You be kind to yourself. You've made actions for amends. And then now what you do is you tell yourself, I am worthy. What do you mean you're worthy? You ain't nothing. Yes, you are. Absolutely. Why? Because you're still here. You still have purpose. You still have a dream. You still have a mind. You still have a life. And so because you have those areas, acknowledging ownership, accepting yourself with compassion, actions for amends, and still tell yourself that you are worthy. That is important. Otherwise, you'll just beat yourself up in this pursuit of perfection, which we know that does not exist in any planet. Hmm, absolutely. And I appreciate everyone that's making comments here because this is important. That if we're going to grow, we're going to expand. Hope says accountability produces growth. Growth.
Yes.
Absolutely, it does.
Yes.
When we own where we are, acknowledge ownership to experience transformation and growth, not condemnation. Absolutely. Step back to go forward. Yes. Step back. If we're going to have the long jump, we got to go back. If we're going to have the
Yes.
high jump, we got to go back. Why? Because we're measuring where we're going and we're saying, okay, I got to run this race of life. Got to be able to move forward. So let me go backwards in order for me to do that. Absolutely. Make sure you make declarations over yourself because that strengthens your toolbox, all right, of developing who you are and starting over again. So if you're out there today and this is relevant to you, please go ahead again and hashtag start over. Hashtag second chance. If this is making sense, if this is resonating with you today, I want you to go ahead and put that in the box so we can see who's out there, who is who out there you're being renewed. You're focusing on your second chance. You're focusing on starting over again. All right. Thanks so much for everybody being a part of this. Let's keep going here, Mel. All right. Addressing shortfalls. Ooh. Addressing shortfalls. What is this? Simply asking yourself, how can I do better this time? Just
Hmm.
addressing shortfalls. I don't have any flaws. I'm always going to be strong. Look, newsflash, you're human. I'm gonna drink my tea to that one
That's
right there.
right.
Shoot, you're gonna it's gonna happen.
Hmm.
So address your shortfalls. That doesn't mean you stay there. You ask yourself, what can you do to be better, to improve over time? And then you address your shortfalls by asking yourself those types of questions. It's important that we do that. Be open and honest with yourself, be open and honest with others. Don't let it weigh on you. Don't let it weigh on you.
Mm.
I'm gonna write that one out right there. Don't let it weigh. Somebody needs to put that in the comments. Don't let it weigh. Don't let it weigh. Don't let it weigh and overwhelm you. Accept the fact that you know what? There are things that happen that you can't change. They call it the locus of control. There are things that you can control, but there are things that you can't control. And you can influence those. You can influence where you are right now. So be mindful where you are in the moment. Be mindful of where you are in the moment when you're starting over. It's okay to be able to say no. Because when there's a no, there's a yes. When there's a yes, there's a no on the other end. So, what am I saying yes to? And I may not be aware that I'm saying no in other areas, but don't let it weigh. Don't let it rule. Because again, this is about second chance, starting over again, being calm and being in the clear. And we started out by saying neuroscience lets us know the brain is wired to keep us safe. So these types of vulnerable conversations are very difficult to have because we're going to be safe.
Mhm.
I don't want to acknowledge that I'm wrong. Oh, please. I don't want to acknowledge that there's an error. I want you to be comfortable in being frailed and flawed and being formed. Because people that acknowledge their frailty, they're still growing
Yes.
because they're competing against their tomorrow because
Yes.
they're looking at their today. Ooh, that was a good one right there.
Hmm. Yes, it was.
Yeah, they're competing against their tomorrow because they're looking at where they are today. We have to do that. And so there are times when we are accepting what we cannot change. Now, this is not about if you got cyclical behaviors and patterns, that's another conversation. All right. This is talking about when you've acknowledged where you are and there's been ownership and there's compassion and you're looking at the actions that you're taking to make amends. You're addressing shortfalls. You're asking yourself questions. Your awareness of what you can change and what you can't change. Because I realize as a human being, the brain is wired to keep me safe and it's wired for negativity. So what are we going to do? We're going to move it to a place of awareness. And that dismantles that research because now I'm now telling my own brain, my own mind, I'm not going to let what this research to rule my thinking. Thoughts. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, the next thing I want to share here is we're going to do starting over again renewal exercise. So I'd like you, if you will, please go ahead and take out your journal. And if you're driving, you probably can't do this, but if you're at a space where you can quiet yourself, this is your time to engage in a starting over again renewal exercise. And if you want me to post this on the Renewal Center page, I will do that. So before we go forward, this again, we're here every single Tuesday at noon. So the goal of our tea time is to foster this type of community of rest, of reset, of building resilience. How do we foster resilience? We do that in the context of community, and we use hospitality as that road to get to our destination of renewing. Okay. So as you can see at the bottom of our screen, for those of you that may be new, or those of you that connect with our content, please feel free to donate to the Renewal Center. You can see there at the bottom. There you can text Renewal Center to the number that is streaming at the bottom of the screen, or also you can give to the Renewal Center via our website at www.therenewalcenters.com renewal.com/give. So I'll just leave that streaming for you just in case you'd like to donate and partner with us. All right, so starting over again, let's go back to our exercise. Number one, we're going to ask the question, and we're going to go through each of these questions. You may not answer them now, but I like if you're watching, at least answer one of these questions in the comments if you don't mind, so that we can foster community and build resilience as a group. All right, now let's go. The first one is, is if I were to respond from a place of love, what would that look like? I thought about that question earlier because I thought about how there was something that I probably did not, I'm going to say probably, I just didn't respond from a place of love. It was a place of protection, perhaps. And I began to think about, now, if I were to respond from a place of love, what would that look like? I asked myself this question. I want you to consider right now where you are. Ask yourself that question. I'm going to move on to the next question. What could I be missing or not seeing right now? We don't see everything. And it's absolutely okay not to. And let me just emphasize something here. And Mel, this might be edifying to you. You know, I know that in the whole proverbial Johari window, we talk about the blind spot. But you know what? We also have what we call bright spots. Not just blind spots, we have bright spots. The blind spot is, something that everybody else can see that you don't see. Well, a blind spot, we can also have a bright spot too, where there are things that others see that we may not see about ourselves. So when we're thinking about this, what could I be missing or not seeing right now? It's not only the blind spot, it could also be the bright spot. And sometimes when you become aware of your bright spot, because I know, again, the brain is wired to what? Negativity. We're always going, well, I got a blind spot, stuff that I'm not seeing. Well, perhaps there's a bright spot that I can perhaps become aware of. And so we could be missing out on something substantive about who we are when we're not looking at our bright spots as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was thinking about that the next place that you're going to on that on your grid there. What is this all about? And that makes me think about the bright spot. Sometimes we're moving into certain things and we're in the middle of circumstance, and sometimes we don't even see it. And so sometimes until someone makes it aware of it to us, hey, did you realize that bright spot right there helps us analyze the situation and say, like you said, what can I learn from this? What can I shift and do differently? So I think that the bright spots are just as important as the blind spots, because we can be in the frame. You say you can't see the picture because you're in it.
Wow.
Until you could be so engrossed into something until you are actually in the frame and you don't see it. Or, that other phrase, you can't see the forest because of the trees, right? Mm-hmm. And so the blind spots are just as important as the bright spots, because they make us more aware and help us to ask that question that you put in there. What is this? What is this all about? So it helps us to learn. That's what I'm taking from that. That'll help me learn. Maybe there's something I do need to change. Some adjustments I need to make.
Right. And it doesn't just have to be the blind spot. It could be something bright that we're missing.
Right.
Like you said, because we're in the frame. Powerful. Good stuff. Thank you. Let's get on with a couple of more questions here. What's this really about? Do I need everything to be perfect to move forward or to start fresh? Do I have to have all my ducks in a row? Do I need everything to be perfect? I'm gonna sit on that one right there for the perfectionist folks that are on this today at Tea Time today. What could you do to remind yourself that you deserve this and you're worthy?
Yes.
Are you possibly worried about what others will think, or are you doing this because it really matters to you? So I want you to just look at these questions, and I know that you're reflecting. So go ahead if you will, and let's answer some of these questions in the chat, or give us your feedback or your comments on this development moment. Okay, what's this really about? If I were to respond from a place of love, what would that look like? What could I be missing or not seeing right now? Maybe I'm looking at something and I'm missing the bigger picture. I'm missing a bright spot. I'm missing a blind spot. I'm missing an opportunity. I'm missing an assignment. Am I worried that what others will think, or am I doing this because it really matters to me? What could I do to remind myself that I deserve this and that I'm worthy? Do I need everything to be perfect to move forward or to start fresh? Sometimes we think that everything has to be in alignment in all aspects in order for us to start over, to start again, to move forward with the second chance opportunity. Folks, I want you to take this time, just a minute, and go ahead and share with us some of your perspectives, if you will. Mildred is saying, looking back to move forward, to be aware of your growth. Absolutely. That's what we were talking about earlier, about how we're going to advance. Many times progress is backwards. Wow. Sometimes moving forward is backwards, because I'm going backwards to get a lay of the land and get a larger view of what I need to tackle. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Carmela says here that coming from a place of love helps me honor myself. Wow. And again, folks, these are critical questions, creative questions. These are conceptual questions. All these things are about starting over again. This is an exercise. So I want you to share with us. Again, I'll bring it up again as you think through this, because some of you probably are meditating on this and just really locating yourself. What's this really about? If I were to respond from a place of love, what would that look like? Whew. Because the human brain is already wired to say, nah, not gonna have that. Nah. Read this as a whole word. Absolutely. Let's hear some more. Karen says it reminds me of the bow and arrow. Nick Jackson says, start right where you are and reflect on how to move forward. Be gentle with yourself as you start over. Start where you are. All right? Any of you you've ever gone to, you've driven through state to state, and you go to the Welcome Center, you go to the map says you are here.
Yeah.
Just let you know where you are in light of the entire state. Where you are. Anything you want to share on your end, Carmel?
I like that, because starting over with that clean slate, it's like just the practical thing, just taking a breather, just like, okay, everything's clean, everything is new. Okay, where do I begin? How can I start again? And that's being kind, that's being gentle, just like Monique was saying, being gentle with yourself. When you're starting over, allow yourself that opportunity to say, okay, this is brand new, this is clean. Let's start something new.
Yes. You can do these in every area of life. You can do this in your job. You can do this in your business. You can do this in your career. You can do this with your talent. Just like you can repot a plant.
That's good.
You can go back in and just refresh the roots, refresh it. It's refreshing. Maybe that plant is being restricted because the pot is not big enough. And so we need to expand ourselves. Absolutely. This is so important. What else are we hearing here? Let's go to, in order to grow, we have to be open to see what's missing. And then when it's revealed, respond with understanding, grace, and love. Yes. Fresh perspective. Enough said on that too. Fresh insight. What could I be missing and not seeing right now? Thank you. Nicole says, sometimes we don't feel we deserve another chance, but even your blessings are not always just about you. Learn to accept them.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you folks, we can start over. The human brain, it is wired that way. We are rewiring ourselves today by doing these activities that help us move forward with a renewal mindset. That's what we're trying to get accomplished here today. So if there's anybody else who want to share a few of your ideas or your perspectives, again, I just want to show the screen one more time and then also go back to our original screen. We talked about starting over again, calm and clear, acknowledging where we are, accepting ourselves with compassion, whatever action we've taken to make amends. Remind yourself that you are worthy, addressing shortfalls, asking yourself how you can do better this time, and what can you do to make it more effective, that you can have a successful outcome, because it is about the outcome. All right, being aware of what you can change and what you can't change, and how you can make a difference right now. To share one more perspective here. In order to develop further, we must understand that we are more than pieces of us that are broken or not right. More than, keyword, more than. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. What else here? Some more is coming in. Okay, great. Sometimes we need help from one to start over. Yes, connecting with each other. See, this is powerful because as we build resilience, imagine when everyone acknowledges and owns where they are and then accepts themselves with that compassion. Imagine the kind of action that will come out of that to start over. It is because we're learning to do that. So it's important that we address where we are, ask ourselves these kinds of questions, and that moves us to more awareness and change. All right. So again, I want to thank everyone for coming on today. Camille, you have any other things you want to share? And again, I just wanted to remind everyone, we are here at 159 Church Street North here in Concord. We'd love to have you come through and connect with us.
Yes.
We are on site here today, so we're excited about being able to be here for Tea Time Tuesday. We want to remind you just of a few announcements. On our first, second, and our third Wednesdays, we have Reforming Culture, which is a leadership development course. We are now teaching on the prophetic leadership principles of Nehemiah. That is first, second, and third Wednesdays at 7 p.m. You can register if you go to any of our media sites, both Instagram as well as on Facebook, and register for that. Also on Sundays, we have the New You Digital Discipleship on Sundays at 10 a.m. Please visit our pages. Also download our mobile app. You can stay connected with us. Every single Monday, we have a renewal word from our team. Every Thursday, first and third, or second and fourth Thursdays, we have a blog from our blog team as well. So go to your Apple, Google, your Android store, type in the Renewal Center, download our content, and we're looking forward to improving our serve, because our focus is to reveal Christ for new minds, restore lives, and reform culture. So, Camille, anything you want to share before we close out today?
Absolutely love this session today. This renewal practice of second chances just serves as a reminder to all of us to give ourselves latitude, to love on ourselves, to practice those things, to remember the blind spots and the bright spots. There's so much to gain from this session today. I hope everyone takes this and runs with it, especially as we're approaching a new month, a new day, actually, to just move forward. This is just another launching pad to, to renew ourselves. And that's what Tea Time Tuesday is all about.
That's right. One thing I want you to do, if you can you share a little bit about your upcoming communication webinar?
Absolutely. I would love to.
Share a little bit about that.
Yes. I'll be having a mini class. There it is on the screen, Effective Communication mini class. And that is Saturday, November 13th. If you want to sharpen up your communication skills, everyone can't get around. No one can get around communication because we do it every day. But sometimes a lot of the things that we say or the things that we project may get lost in translation. And so I have a lot of great working strategies to help us sharpen our communication skills. It's so very important. So visit me on my website. Enrollment is going on right now at www.transformational-moment.com. Share that with a friend. I would love to see you on November the 13th.
You know what? To tie it into second chances and starting over, what do you think? What does communication perhaps have to do with starting over? You got any thoughts on that? I know it's just an off the cuff question, but I'm just
That is
trying to
off the
tie
cuff, but
it
that's that's okay. I mean, well, one of the things I always say about personal development is sharpening your skills. So there may be some things that you may not. Uh, how about let's say it like this? There may be some things that you can gain by learning how to maybe hear someone else's perspective, or how do you engage others, and maybe a link that's missing that you can use in communication. A lot of things, most things begin at the level of communication. So starting over, learning something new, maybe you've never taken a communications class. This is a great time. It's a mini class, and you can always take your time to go for a new stretch in your personal
again.
development, a
Mm.
new start, something new.
Yeah. So starting fresh in learning a particular skill set, and
Right,
specifically
right.
in the area of communication, because life thrives or doesn't based upon how we communicate. There's a lot of content to that.
Exactly.
So, oh, absolutely. So, I would encourage everyone to please enroll in that. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming on Tea Time today. And this has been a powerful time. I want to just share a few more comments. You're welcome, Monique. Thank you for coming on today. Absolutely. Dr. Brown, thank you, Dan, for coming on today.
Hey,
We
Dad.
appreciate that. We received that. Thank you so much. Karen, so good to have you on again today as well.
Yes.
Yes, we can move forward. We can start fresh. So, again, I want to thank everyone from Carmela Head and I here at the Renewal Center. We just want to say have an incredible rest of your month. We look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday for our Tea Time Tuesday. All right. Take some time to reset yourself and follow us on all of our social media. We thank you and appreciate your time. Have a very good day.